Ever since the beginning of time, in every civilization that has ever existed, there have always been the rulers of the world who want to dominate and control every aspect of everyone's lives. From the Babylonians to the Egyptians to the Romans, right on up to the 20th and 21st century, this human desire to rule like gods has continued. When Adolf Hitler made his attempt at a complete power grab, the people of the world rose up and fought back and managed to stop his efforts. Out of the ashes of the Second World War, we saw the rise of the United Nations, whose goals are to achieve world peace through unity. This has led to the formation of the World Bank, the World Health Organization, the World Food Program, and the World Court. The current global elite have been accelerating their plan by implementation through stealth, by utilizing things like the education system, Hollywood, and the mainstream media to condition the people of the world into believing that unity, to the extent of a one-world government, is the only solution to our many problems. Under the guise of humanitarianism, the current elites of the world have set up global governing authorities such as Interpol, the International Criminal Police Organization, and the International Criminal Court. In fact, the ICC, along with AFRICOM, the American African Military Command, are currently positioning themselves for military intervention in the nations of Africa, all in the name of peace and security. You see, the agendas for a one-world government are advancing so much so that now global governing authorities such as the UN and NATO are calling the shots, and they are bypassing constitutional authorities in countries all over the world.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed.
Well, that's a real question, isn't it? Why? The how and the who is just scenery for the public. Oswald, Ruby, Cuba, the mafia. Keeps them guessing like some kind of parlor game, prevents them from asking the most important question, why? Why was Kennedy killed? Who benefited? Who has the power to cover it up? Who?
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order. A new world order.
There's a need for a new world order.
Create a new world order.
A new world order.
A new world order.
To build a new world order.
A new world order.
A new world order.
The very idea of human being some sort of natural concept is really going to change.
Our bodies will be so high-tech, we won't be able to really distinguish between what's natural and what's artificial.
Inside our own heads is the most complex arrangement of matter in the known universe.
You might ask yourself, can we get to be superhumans?
The original Industrial Revolution was driven by the discovery that you could use steam engines to do all kinds of interesting things.
But that was followed by additional revolutions for electricity and computers and communications technology. We're now in the early stages of the fourth Industrial Revolution, which is bringing together digital, physical, and biological systems.
One of the features of this fourth Industrial Revolution is that it doesn't change what we are doing, but it changes us.
With the ability to visualize brain activity, for example, through a simple consumer-based EEG device, it gives us access to ourselves in ways that we've never before thought possible. It unlocks the black box that is the brain and enables us to really, truly be able to realize an identity that is aspirational.
A transhuman is in a transitionary state of being. They are human. They are wanting to transition into something else, but ultimately they want to become a post-human, something that has become so radically altered from what we are today as to no longer even be considered to be human. And they imagine creating Homo sapien 2.0 through the use of technology, from neuropharmacology to nanotechnology, genetic engineering, stem cell sciences, robotic assistance, brain-machine interfacing, all of the new fields of science that could have an application for human enhancement is important to the transhumanist movement. One of the key objectives of transhumanism is to extend our lifespan. Aubrey de Grey is saying now that if you're 50 years of age when you're watching this video, there's a very good chance you could live to be as much as 1,000 years old. So in transhumanism, there are some very exotic ideas such as post-genderism, the idea that we will be able to develop androgynous beings, morphological beings, who will take the best of what it means to be a man and the best of what it means to be a woman and actually have a new form of life that is both man and woman. Don't these future humans want to have genetic offspring? And they've developed ideas around how all this could be done within their science. You take genetic samples. And this isn't altogether cloning, but you take genetic samples from the contributors, and through some form of super in vitro fertilization, those genetic samples are placed inside of an egg which has had its nucleus removed, which is also probably donated from one of these women. It is treated with chemicals or with electricity like we do with cloning now. And it jumpstarts spindle formation, cells begin to divide, and a new man-woman made up of multiple partners begins to grow and becomes an embryo. It even goes deeper. The Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, has for over the last decade been funding to the tune literally of billions of dollars research into what they call the extended performance warfighter. The interesting parts about the extended performance warfighter is that it even includes literally altering the DNA of soldiers. The public may more commonly hear this referred to as super soldier technology.
Once the line between mind and machine disappears, we can imagine future applications.
Imagine some kind of super soldier in the future. They might be linked to other soldiers or to their headquarters in some way so that they would be almost telepathically able to follow commands. It would be fantastic if someday we can interface with machines directly so that we didn't have to look at screens. We could basically surf the internet by just plugging something into the back of our heads. Is it possible that hackers of the future could somehow manage to peek inside our own heads and take the secrets out of those? Do we need to create some kind of a mental firewall to stop other people from breaking inside our skulls?
Eventually what's happening is that we are being led bit by bit through, to use the Skinnerian term, from shaping, through the successive approximation to ultimately having within our bodies an RFID chip that will be implanted, that people will stand in line and in queues for to have, so that ultimately we will have in our bodies. Because what we're doing right now, Lindsay, is we're slowly moving towards that. We went from the desktop to the laptop to the phone to the watch, and now we're having little tattoos, little biometrics, all of them leading to the ultimate goal, and that is an RFID, a radio frequency identification or similar chip, to be placed subcutaneously. And that chip, Lindsay, will have everything about you there is. Your bank account, your GPS location, and you will do it. You will get one. Because after all, it will also have the siren call of medical information. And then one day, God forbid, not you, one day when people are found guilty of, let's say, crimes, they're not going to be put into the Hoosgow, the Pokey. No, their chip is going to be turned off and poof, they don't exist anymore. That's where all of this is going. Think about it, Lindsay. No more wallets. You want to pay for your bill? Go like that. Because there's the chip. Just go like that. We'll do these little hand waves. This will be everything. And then, as I said, the moment you transgress and that chip is turned off, you don't exist anymore. People won't be able to see you on their GPS devices, even though you're looking right at them. They're saying, I'm sorry, Lindsay, this isn't registering. Because without this, without my ability to pick up the metrics, the biometrics, the electronic metrics of you, you don't exist.
He is a real-life Cyberman, a scientist with an implanted computer chip. A tiny lump is all that gives it away. A wave of his digitally enhanced hand and security doors magically open. Only he can operate his phone, and only if he holds it in the hand fitted with a chip. But now Dr. Mark Gasson is suffering a very 21st century malady, the first human to be infected with a computer virus.
When the systems read my tags, the computer virus has actually appeared throughout the whole database. So it's actually replicated itself and copied it throughout the database. So any of these people that are using their swipe cards to access the building, the actual virus will be copied onto their card.
The cybernetics expert at the University of Reading had the chip implanted in a minor operation. In future, your medical records could be stored like this, but the chips are vulnerable.
This is just like the chip that's implanted in Dr. Gasson's hand. It's called an RFID, a tag that's been used for many years to track goods around the world. But these days they're far more powerful and they're being used in more and more applications. They're like mini computers, and just like a computer, they're vulnerable to viruses.
Implantable human chips. Supporters hail the technology as a medical marvel, but critics warn that the potential risks are real.
Well, they talked about, for example, electrical hazards. This thing is by no means inert. The way it works is it actually picks up and amplifies ambient electromagnetic energy from the reader devices. And if you have one of these things in your arm and you get within range of a powerful electromagnetic field, it can actually burn you.
The way it can kill you if you get out of line. A closer look at the who and the why behind this idea.
All right, this next story may sound like something out of, well, a Hollywood thriller. A Saudi inventor has created a killer microchip. It's designed to track terrorists and criminals and, well, you can think of somebody. Not only does it include a GPS device, it also has a lethal dose of cyanide, which can be activated at any time. Do you get my point?